Coming up, a Sad Styles production. Get into it!
So, Andrew, I've noticed that recently there's a lot in the news and in our world and society about like Norse mythology, right? You've got God of War Ragnarok, which is sweeping the nation these days.
I love that game.
Even going back, Thor: Love and Thunder.
Sure.
Norse mythology is getting a lot of love, but I think there's a group, a pantheon that's just like, from a group of people that's probably traditionally marginalized in the society. So I'm thinking we should focus maybe on another pantheon of gods, just to show the world that there's more out there. Like who do you think is the coolest pantheon out there that we can focus on?
Coolest pantheon.
Because I know I got my idea.
Maybe like Aztecian gods, like Quetzalcoatl.
Okay, that is cool. It is cool. It's a little violent, a little bloody, and also that name you said, I can't pronounce it, so it's probably not worth doing. I don't want another Proteus situation on my hands. What's another cool pantheon that you can think of? Think hip, think with it, think a lot of cool stories.
Maybe Taoism. Something interesting about peace and motion.
Yeah, not a lot of peace where I'm thinking.
Really?
No, I'm thinking like what all the kids are talking about these days. They got the cool necklaces. They've got the cross necklaces. I'm thinking we got to go with the Christian pantheon.
Christianity is what you're talking about?
Christianity is fucking dope. Wow. It's fucking sick.
Wait, what game are we playing?
It's Bible Adventure by Wisdom Tree this week on the Retrograde podcast.
Oh my God. And welcome to the Retrograde
podcast, where we remind you what you used to love and whether or not you still should.
My name's Andrew Bascom, and with me as always is the bad boy of podcasting, Mr. Bebop himself,
Saint Michael Aaronworth.
Saint Michael. Yeah. Wonderful.
Yeah. It's first of all, should be a saint.
Yeah.
I performed many miracles, one of which is sitting across the room from you for 4 years.
Oh my God, it's so mean for no reason.
It's not mean, it's truthful, Andrew. It's being assertive.
Yeah, and honesty is a good sign for a saint.
That is true. That's the miracle.
Yeah,
is how to be honest in today's world.
I would have thought it would have been your good service. You know what I mean? It's like helping out the disadvantaged by sitting across from me doing this podcast for 4 years.
You're the disadvantaged.
Yeah, I would assume so. And just pick a reason. Probably there.
Okay, I like it. Well, the reason why I'm naming myself after a saint is obviously we're looking at a game this week that a lot of people have been begging us to do. It's the typical thing from our listeners where they want us to do things that are going to piss us off. I think they want us to not enjoy our lives and our jobs. So it's Bible Adventure this week.
I can't believe people actually wanted us to do this.
I mean,
for what reason?
That's it.
Okay,
it's the same. It comes from the same bone in their body that wanted us to do Five Nights at Freddy's.
Yes.
Help Wanted. The same people who Poppy Playtime.
Wouldn't it be amazing if this game also scared us? We're like, wait, are we going to hell?
That honestly, it could.
Yeah.
I've had this game on my radar for a long time. I'm aware of it, just as like I'm aware of a lot of these games of lore. Where it's like they're very good for a specific reason or very bad for a specific reason, but they're spoken about with this sort of reverence, almost like The Room by Tommy Wiseau, like that kind of thing. Now, actually, let me ask you, and first of all, actually, before I ask you, I just want to say, if you're new to this podcast, first of all, thanks for listening. Secondly, typically we do on this podcast is take a look back at the games that we used to play when we were kids.
Not games like Bible Adventure.
Not games like Bible Adventure. We didn't play it when we were kids. We take a look back at the games and we rate and review them as we remember them back when we played them as little baby boys. Then we actually take a break, play the game, show you all that gameplay over on YouTube, come back and rate and review the game. Once again, out of 4 bits, this time it's how the game holds up in the modern day against like some modern games. This game, as we talked about, we don't have any experience playing. So we're going to be doing things a little bit differently. In fact, the past few weeks have kind of been like this.
I was going to say.
But I'll kind of throw to you with this question that I have here. A lot of people hate watch movies.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Like The Room.
Yes.
Is that possible with video games? Is the same thing possible?
We talk about this all the time as being like an active participant in a video game. You need to do stuff to make it happen. With watching movies, you can sit there and barely be conscious, looking at your phone, whatever. It's still going to happen. It's like a tree in the forest or a Schrodinger's cat situation.
Sorry. Okay, those are two very different things. I'm going to need explanations on both of them.
No.
Are you imagining that Schrodinger's cat has gotten up in this tree and you just want to call the hunky fireman? Is this why you're bringing this up?
Is Schrodinger's cat up a tree? I don't know. And while I don't know, he is both up a tree and not up a tree.
And listen, here's another level.
Yes.
If that tree falls.
Yes.
It both makes a sound and does not make a sound.
Depends if it lands on the imaginary cat.
The cat both dies and survives.
Yes.
This is wild.
Wow, it's just branching off into so many realities.
Yes.
Did we call the fire department? Well, simultaneously we did and we didn't.
Oh my God. This is like that episode of Community.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
You know.
Oh God, I love that. That is the gif of Donald Glover walking in
yeah.
and somebody's been shot and there's a fire and there's the gnome and stuff like that. This is the best. Yeah.
Can you hate watch or can you hate play games and get enjoyment out of it?
Why do you hate the game? I think is the important part, because hate the player first. Don't hate the game. But
Sure.
is that the second thing is do you hate it because you're like, oh, the controls are really bad, or it something stops you from being a participant in the game. Like,
Right.
you know what I mean? Oh, it keeps crashing or the camera keeps spinning around or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
But if the content is bad and that's why you hate it, then yes, you can.
If the content's bad and the controls are bad, like I think notoriously about Superman 64, they call it like unplayable. So you can't get enjoyment out of playing it because inherently it's frustrating and that's what makes it bad.
Don't get any ideas. You
fuck.
idiots. Don't get any ideas at home. We're not playing that game for a while.
We got to change the format of this podcast before this starts to happen, because otherwise people are going to, once people get the clue that we are playing some of the requested games and this is one of them, I feel like the floodgates will be open forever.
Right. That was our fault for even admitting that, like, this person sent it in and now we're going to do it. No, that's when we really screwed things up.
We really screwed the pooch and
Schrodinger's pooch.
Schrodinger's pooch. I both came inside of it and didn't at the same time. What? This is physics.
Yeah, right. You're right. Yes, I'm so sorry. That it's completely a science question.
It's completely a science question. You know the funny thing about Schrodinger is?
I'd love to hear it.
He proposed the idea of Schrodinger's cat to say that something cannot simultaneously be alive and dead. And now everyone uses that example to be like, this is when something is both alive and dead. Yeah.
It's like he felt the opposite of the theory attached to his name.
Yeah.
Wow, that's certainly something.
You know, Schrodinger, he never would have imagined a multiverse scenario in which he was the champion of his own things that he despised. There's something that I very much don't despise, Andrew, and I want to talk about it. A game that I've been meaning to play for a while. I feel like if you're paying attention to kind of like less significant releases this year, indie games that are just getting like this groundswell of appreciation at the moment. This game is there. If you listen to podcasts, if you're paying attention to people who like these kind of quirky games, I find myself as one of those people. You can't avoid the mention of the game, The Curse of the Golden Idol. Okay. Have you heard about this game?
Yes, I've heard about this game.
It just seems to be coming up everywhere. And Lucas Pope, the designer of Papers, Please.
Right.
He also did Curse of the Oberdin or Return of the Oberdin. Fucking, I never remember if it's Curse or I think it's Return of the Oberdin. Return of the Oberdin, which I just beat recently, so I should know the title of it. He kind of signed off on this game, which is why it gave a lot of people.
Casually brings up that he beat a game.
Me? No big deal. I beat a game. Well, I beat another game.
Whoa,
and that's The Curse of the Golden Idol.
Whoa.
This game, okay. I'm going to give a brief explanation of what this game is.
I would appreciate that.
Because we're going to talk some games before we talk about Bible Story. We have to. We'll leave that to the end. And trust me, there's a lot we're going to talk about with Bible Story. But before then,
that's true.
It is, or Bible Adventure, sorry. It is true. Trust me. There's
Curse of the Bible Adventure.
Curse of the Bible Adventure.
Return of the Bible Adventure.
They call that the New Testament. I don't know what that means. So I'll paint you a picture of Curse of the Golden Idol. This is, at its heart, I guess a mystery game.
Okay.
You're trying to figure out what the story is of this kind of world that you've been brought into. In order to do so, you're presented with these kind of tableaus with just a minor amount of movement back and forth, like a little jittering in the screen to see what happens. So for example, in the first level, there's a person who's being pushed off a cliff. You can see the person kind of moving and coming back and kind of moving and coming back. One person's pushing, the other person's falling. Now, you hunt around the screen. It's just a 2D image, and you're dealing with it like a King's Quest, Monkey Island type thing. Right. You're just clicking around to find clues. The clues are highlighted. Within the clues, sometimes you'll find some text, like from a book. Cool. You'll find a name tag. You'll find people's personal belongings.
Right.
And sometimes contained within those dialogues are keywords that you click on, and now you can use those keywords to piece together the story of what is occurring in the tableau.
Wow.
So you know someone's being pushed off the cliff in this example. You don't know who is pushing whom. You don't know why they're pushing that person, but you can get context clues. Well, this person has a name tag on them.
Okay.
And when I click on the name tag, now all of a sudden I can use their name as a way to fill in this essentially Mad Lib to describe the scenario.
Wow.
The words you have to input are colored differently depending on whether they're a noun, an adjective, a verb. So you kind of start to take the collected words using context clues and items found within the scene and piece together what happens. So you'll find in the possession of the person pushing the person off the cliff a deed that says I get X amount and you get X amount. And I get to keep any artifacts or something.
Okay.
But the artifact is in the person's pocket of the person doing the pushing. So you're like, okay, you can piece together this story. And it's not like you need to know what the story is just willy-nilly. The coolest thing about this is there's an element of puzzle in this game that I've never experienced before. Sometimes you figure out what is happening because you only have certain verbs that will fit in the verb slot. And it's like this person pushed or wanted or needed or that, and you sort of start to like piece it together to see which one will fit. And when it fits, now you know, oh, this person stole or took as opposed to gave. And now all of a sudden the story of what's happening is being told because of the expertly crafted number of verbs, nouns, and adjectives or whatever it is within the story. It's impossible to describe without making it sound incredibly boring.
Right.
But this game fucking consumed. It's like I had a 24-hour flu. Like I was gone for a bit.
Wow.
I downloaded the game. I played about an hour or two of it at night before I went to bed.
Right.
And then the next day I fucking beat it. And I think it was about 6 or 7 hours, but like I couldn't put it down. It was fantastic. This game is unbelievable. If you like puzzle games, if you like mysteries, this is one of the best that I've ever played.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. Okay.
Did you ever end up playing Return of the Obra Dinn?
I did.
Yeah.
I did.
Did you like it?
I did like it. I thought it was really cool.
Yeah.
I love games like that. I love mysteries. I love whodunits.
Mm-hmm.
I love whodunits in general. Glass Onion's coming out soon.
Oh yeah. The Knives Out.
The Knives Out sequel. Right?
Yeah.
Yes. Coming to Netflix.
It is.
Yeah. Netflix paid Rian Johnson like $250 million to make the next two movies on Netflix.
Oh, wow.
Wow. That being said, though, I think it's going out to theaters, like 1,000 theaters for 1 week.
Just so it can get like Oscar buzz?
I think so. And like, gives people a chance to watch that,
sure.
even though I think not a lot of people are going to go because like, well, next week it's on Netflix.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I love whodunits.
Yeah.
I get the Christie stuff. So yes, I probably would like this game.
I think like at one point, I think it would be cool to do something where like I assign you a small game and you assign me a small game and then we spend a week talking about it. And if that is the case and we decide we want to do something like that, Curse of the Golden Idol would be the game that I assign.
That
for
sounds
you.
fun.
Yeah.
Okay. So yes, I'll hold off until you task me with that activity.
Okay. Much like Black Widow and the Taskmaster, I will be very boring. The last thing I'll say about the game is in each of those tableaus, there's I think 4 chapters and there's probably 3 stories within each chapter. They tell a story from start to finish.
Wow.
That is by paying attention to what's happening, it like helps you solve later clues. And when the twist happened, I picked up on it just before I think you're supposed to, or when it kind of becomes very obvious that this is what happened. And I gasped. I was playing it on my Steam Deck. I turned off my Steam Deck and I just put my head in my hands. I was like fucking thrilled. I was so thrilled by it. It was amazing. Yeah.
I love that. I love that something could make you feel that way.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. That sounds good. Okay.
Well,
yeah.
I've got a question for you though, Andrew, because you caught us up a little bit with your foray into Ragnarok, God of War Ragnarok. Have you been able to spend a bit more time with it? What are you thinking about that game?
I have. I've been getting. Have I what now?
Have you given it up yet?
No, I haven't given it. Why, Mikey? I'm Mr. Finisher.
Are you?
Yeah. Coffees for closers, baby. And I finished these fucking games. Only the weak give up so fast.
How was your completion of the original God of War or God of War 2018 going?
Thorough? Yeah, I really no rock unturned on that one. And I gotta tell you, the end of that game. Sad.
Probably.
This game's going really well. It's so funny. It's not a game. It's not a style of game that I would usually play.
Yeah.
Which essentially is like beat boss, level boss, or area boss, and then loot stuff, and then upgrade. You know what I mean? That's not the kind of like Valorant and like all this kind of stuff. Like these kind of games. And I imagine it's what like Elden Ring is kind of like too, in a degraded in a lower version than that. Because I find myself, if I have patience and I take my time,
much like a doctor. Well, take your time on like a doctor.
No, yeah, you're in a rush.
In and out.
Yeah. I can beat any boss. But it's because I'm like, oh, for God's sakes, and I get frustrated, get fired up. It's the only game I've played in a very long time that I will put something down out of frustration.
Yeah.
Fuck this, I'm not playing this tonight. And I will pick it up tomorrow and beat it on the first try.
Yes. Yeah.
It's like my brain has been processing in the background on how to do this.
I honestly think there's an element to that.
And so I will say that, so there's so many areas in which, you know, you can visit and so many realms you can go to. And sometimes I'm like, well, okay, you got to manually reload from the last one because I can't beat this boss. Yes. So I won't go to this area till later. And
you're doing what I like to refer to as like the Jenga way of playing a game. You're just pushing against blocks, seeing which one's going to give a little bit, and then once you feel it, you'll push your way through, and then maybe that'll loosen up something down the line.
Totally. I looked up some TikTok ones, like show up every once in a while, like, are you playing God of War Ragnarok wrong? And you're like, wait, he's talking to me. Yeah. And then like little things of like their health bars, their color is telling you if they're a level up, level down, or way up. Yeah. And I was like, oh, that makes sense why I couldn't beat that character. They were like they were like the color of your sweater, like a burnt orange. That's like more than 2 levels up on you.
Andrew, I'm not wearing a sweater.
Oh my goodness.
I have
it's Emperor's New Clothes.
A very tough rash that I've been dealing with for
Holy God, that's a rash?
Yeah, it's a waffle print rash.
Whoa. Okay, Mikey, you should go to a doctor that has lots of time for you.
Oh, you know what? I've been looking.
Can't find one?
Can't find one.
Really?
Yeah, it's been tough. Thanks, Doug. Yeah. Hey, local jokes.
Wow, local jokes.
Usually I'm the one making the local jokes.
Yeah.
Andrew, why don't you tell the loyal listener who Doug Ford is?
He's our premier, which is like your governor in the States. Top of the morning governor, and he has been not great to the health department of Ontario.
I love that when you said top of the morning governor, you looked at me twice through the corner of your eye to be like,
embarrassed. You're not going to take this bait? You're not going to make fun of me for that? All right. That's on you then.
Right, that's on you. That means it's a good joke.
I mean, your silence is acceptance. And that's him endorsing it. Mikey, look at the camera and be like, I'm Mikey Aaronworth and I endorse that joke.
I'm Mikey Aaronworth and and listen, 2 times ago, you can't, come on. That's my Joe Biden impression.
It's pretty good. You should throw in like a bucko or something like that.
Bucko?
Way to go.
He starts to get angry when he loses his train of thought. That's my favorite thing about it. Yeah.
But he's just smiling at it and then kind of like, but I'm serious. And you're like, whoa, what did I do? Where do they stand?
Where do they stand? They don't know. They don't know. Who we make fun of both Doug Ford and Joe Biden in one podcast. Is that the first time this has happened?
In what side are you against both of those people?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
The Retrograde podcast.
Very nuanced opinions here. But one opinion that we have, by the way, any other gaming news that you want to get to before we move on to the game of this week?
No, other than like, I'm excited to talk. I'm excited for a couple more weeks to go by so I can really kind of like spoiler talk about God of War. Because there's like certain elements I've gotten to where I'm like, I like this. Yes. I don't like this. And I just don't I want to give everyone a chance to play the game. So like, I'm not going to probably get
I'm going to try to catch up to you on that a little bit. I'm like, I think very close to beating Elden Ring. And I mentioned that last week. I'm scratching it at the end of it. And I gotta be honest, I hate saying this, but I've got Elden Ring fatigue, like hardcore. I want to be done with this game, and it hurts me to say that.
But like last week, you were saying like, I'm totally in on this game. I've sparked my new love with this game. You were doing this kind of stuff, and now the flame's dying. Eh?
It is dying a little bit, but that is the cycle that they talk about in the FromSoft universe. Anyway, it's a cycle of death and rebirth, right? And I feel like I'm just kind of, it's waning a little bit. I see the end. And I see all the other games that I haven't been playing because since March, most of my time that I have to dump into an adventure game, I've been dumping into Elden Ring as often as possible. I'm still liking big Elden Ring dumps.
Elden Ring dumps.
They are. Mm-hmm. And I don't want to off-put anyone.
Sure. I'm glad to hear that.
Chunky.
Oh, God. Okay. Yeah.
Rock hard.
Well, boy. Okay. You got more
to like explain or to get out?
I hope neither, but yeah.
Okay. I mean, I can stop if you.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, good.
Okay.
Please stop describing.
Email me if you want.
Please get at us. Elden Ring dumps at retrogradepodcast.com.
Simpatico.com.
Local jokes.
So let's talk then about this week's game, Bible Adventure. Not a local joke at all, unless you're from Nazareth, I guess.
Yes. What the hell is
that? So here's the thing, to get off my chest right off the bat. I don't know a ton about the Bible.
Great. Well, this game is going to help you solve that problem, right?
I think it will. will.
Yeah.
I think I'll know all that I need to know after playing 1991's Bible Adventure by Wisdom Tree on the NES. It was ported to the Genesis.
Thank God.
Genesis.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Holy God.
1995.
Yeah. Do you think they went to like the head of the company and were like, which console would you like to go to? And he saw Genesis and he's like, the decision has been made.
So here's actually a cool story about Wisdom Tree and about the release of this game. Because you mentioned Genesis as though like, oh, put it on the Genesis. This game was very specifically designed for the Nintendo Entertainment System when it was released in 1991. And here's why. Wisdom Tree, they weren't always called Wisdom Tree.
What were they called?
It was kind of a branding choice. They were called Color Games.
Okay.
Now, Color Games was one of the most, one of the largest companies to create unlicensed Nintendo games.
Okay.
Because you had to pay Nintendo a license in order to produce games for their system.
Right.
But at that point, it was basically a choice that you made. Do you want the license or do you not? And it wasn't really illegal to put out games on that system. And they weren't always going to come after you for putting games on the system if you didn't pay them the licensing fee. So Color Games found a way to basically short circuit an element of the NES that would try to get it to check for the license. They would bypass that and release games that they would just program, put on a cartridge that fit in the system, and you could play them. Now, the problem with that is stores would have to sell your game in order to put it into this isn't the internet. You can't just make a website and people come on and visit and order directly for themselves. So a lot of stores, even though there were games out there that Color Games were creating, a lot of stores wouldn't hold them, wouldn't sell them. Now, this is because Nintendo, because it wasn't really illegal for Color Games to be doing what they were doing, would go after the resellers and the resellers and basically say, if you carry unlicensed games, we're not going to let you carry licensed games.
Yeah. Okay.
So good luck to Color Games finding ways to sell your product. So their move to become a game that basically like Wisdom Tree to make religious games was almost a marketing choice. They essentially looked at where they could sell their games, realized that, well, okay, we can't sell in retail stores, but you know where we can sell? Church bookstores.
Holy smokes.
Because no one else is selling games there. They don't care if Nintendo says we're not going to sell you Super Mario because the retail or the Christian bookstores are going to say Super Mario is the spawn of the devil.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Isn't that something?
It's kind of like,
go ahead.
What happens nowadays where I think you have these capitalist pigs saying, I want a way to make money. And I know that I can I know that I can make money by being the leader of a mega church. So I'm going to become the leader of a mega church. And it doesn't start from a place of like, you know what? I want to spread the word of the Lord. You know, like it comes from a place of like, how do we make money?
Sure.
And so we're going to make money that way. So that was kind of a marketing idea. The reason they changed from Color Games to the Wisdom Tree is the Wisdom Tree sounded more like a religious. Vaguely religious, and Color Games didn't. So they wanted to be accepted by these bookstores and thought of as like an educational thing. It was supposed like Wisdom Tree is thinking, and you know we're going to teach people about the Bible, so you should carry this in there. And I think they sold about 300,000 units of this game, which is kind of fucking wild, considering it would have been done without entering the retail marketplace, the traditional retail marketplace, and B, they didn't have to pay licensing fees to Nintendo while doing it, just raking that cash in. It's very impressive.
Wow, that's insane. I just can imagine how many kids were so wildly disappointed by their grandparents going like, I got you a video game.
100%.
I got you a Nintendo. Like, oh, you got me a Nintendo? What is it? And it's like, oh,
Super Mario 2?
Yeah. Oh my God, that sounds amazing. I'm sure it would be. We could get that one next after you beat Bible Adventures. And you're just like, oh no.
Or maybe
and then every Christmas they come by and like, how you liking that Bible Adventures? And you're like, it's still in a case somewhere. And you're like, it's good, Nana. Thank you.
Did you ever, as a kid growing up, like your parents knew and your family knew you liked video games, right? I had like a fear that a relative would get me a game that I really didn't want. I used to, like, if I were reading EGM and I would see an ad for a game that looked really bad, I was like, what if my parents just saw this ad and were like, there's a good game, let's get it for Mikey.
And this gave you like an anxiety?
You did.
Wow.
I wouldn't leave my magazine open anywhere because I didn't want them to think I was leaving them a clue. Like Mikey wants Blinks the cat for Christmas. Mikey doesn't want Blinks the cat for Christmas.
But you're talking about Blinks the cat. But Yeah, no, I know. I remember my dad traveled a lot for work, and one time he came back for when he got me something at the airport.
Yeah.
And it was like a Game Boy game. And it was awful.
Mm.
And I was like, and you had to do that thing of like, thank you.
Yeah.
That's great.
And then you're right. He checks in a couple weeks
he's
later.
being sweet and kind.
Hey, how's the game?
He's like, oh, it's great. Thank you.
So my dad used to do the same thing. My dad used to get a gift when he went to travel, if he was gone for like a week or so.
I would say like we're being nice to them, but that is the laziest way they could have ever done that. Like, oh crap, I'm at an airport.
Well, no, so this is different. My dad used to put thought into it.
Wow.
He'd go away, he'd get something that he knew we wanted or bring it, whatever it is. You know, the typical way you like train your dog to pay attention to you when you come home from work every day. You give it a treat.
Yeah.
And now it's going to smother you with love. And we smothered my dad with love. But he would do it. So he would go away, and it was usually very sweet. He would get something and he'd bring it back. And I remember one trip he was away, and there was only one thing I wanted, and it was Jet Force Gemini for the N64. Fix the cat. No, it was Big the Cat from Sonic Adventure.
Oh yeah, right.
Yeah. And I remember he called home. We were at home watching. I was like thinking I was being subtle. I was dropping hints to my mom, like, man, there's this game that's like really freaking cool. It's called Jet Force Gemini. Like, I really love this game. And like, I don't know how I'm going to get it. I can't afford it. I don't know.
If you think of anything, let me know. And just walked away with a newspaper under your arm.
Yeah,
or something.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then my dad called one day and he was talking to my mom, and I was like, Mom, like, tell him Jet Force Gemini or something, like maybe tell him that's what I want.
Yeah, share my big news.
Share my big news. share the game. And I'm talking, and then she passes the phone to me, and I'm talking, and I'm like, hey, how's the trip? And he's like, it's great. Oh, I got a big surprise for you. I got like a good gift for you. I was like, oh, I was kind of hoping that like you'd get the game Jet Force Gemini for me. And maybe get that. He's like, oh no, I got a big surprise. Like, don't worry, you're gonna like what I got. And I was like, yeah, I really want Jet Force Gemini. You got to get me Jet Force Gemini. Like, don't get me anything else. And then I threw a fit, and I got like mad about it. And my mom and then my dad was like really bummed out. And then my mom took the phone, and then I went downstairs, and my mom came back. She's like, he got you the freaking game. He just wanted it to be a surprise. Are you happy now? And I was like,
yes.
I mean, yeah.
I love the idea that your dad's like in like North Carolina or something like that for work. And he's got to go find a video game store.
Yeah.
Now. Is there a local video game store here? Like, yeah, okay. My stupid kid has this stupid thing that he wants me to get him.
So what? I'm a little spoiled sometimes.
The problem with that, though, is then now you expect them to come back with something every time. And when they don't, you're like, what the fuck is it? And they're like, aren't you happy to see me? I'm like, no. Empty hands? Get the hell out of here.
Like, you're describing the first 8 years of my life. This is exactly to it, too.
You remember 1 to 3 very clearly.
I do remember 1 to 3 very clearly.
0 to 3.
0 to 3 in exactly 3 years. That's how long it took me to go from 0 to 3.
Where are you at Bible knowledge? How are you going to do in this game, Mikey?
Oof.
So first book of the Bible?
Genesis.
Great. Second book?
Revelations.
Yeah, perfect. Jumped right to the end. Perfect. Loved it. Yep. Absolutely.
You know pretty well. You went to a Catholic school.
I did. I went to a Catholic school. Everyone will be wildly disappointed when I don't do well in this children's video game. But yeah, but there are small things that just upset me. Like small things that upset me by Andrew Bascom. I went to a football game recently, and there was this person, that is screaming about Jesus Christ.
Okay. Wait.
And
in what context?
I don't think there is one. They have homemade signs, and they're screaming.
Are they at the game, or they're just on the street?
They are outside of the entrance.
Oh, okay.
So they're just making people feel bad about themselves as they go to do something that they enjoy.
Okay.
And it's all about Jesus is returning. And I'm just like, and just part of my blood boils. I'm like, that's a bad thing, right? They're all going to die if he comes back. Why are you so excited about this? And I'm like, I'm not doing this.
Well, because that person
believes that eternal bliss is coming because of that.
Yes.
Exactly. Yeah. And I guess.
Let me tell you something, Andrew. Mm-hmm. If what you're doing on Thanksgiving morning is standing outside,
screaming at
people, you're probably going to be pretty excited for death too. I gotta be honest.
The sweet release of death.
There's much here holding your corporeal form.
As a weird zombie Jesus threatens my life out of my body.
Yes.
And he's like, thank God. Finally.
No
one listened.
You're going to hell. Baby, I've been living there for 64 years.
Yeah, it's always you find people that just You find very fast when people don't really understand what they're talking about.
Yes.
And you're like, oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was a lot of fun as I was drunk at 11 in the morning getting screamed at about Jesus Christ.
That sounds amazing.
No,
that sounds like a perfect Sunday.
It is the best kind of Sunday.
Yeah. So here's another really interesting thing that arose out of the fact that
Jesus Christ after 3 days?
Yeah, it's 3 days. Because they were supplying religious games to religious bookstores.
But religious bookstores are a thing. You said that, and I'm like, wait, is that like a popular chain of religious bookstores?
I think they are. I like you need to get your religious media. They would sell books, movies, TV shows, basically like very religious people, probably in the Bible Belt or something.
What would you do? What would you call your religious bookstore?
That's a good question.
I would call mine Red Sea.
Red Sea.
Yeah, like read red.
Red Sea.
Yeah.
I'd call mine The Good Book.
The Good Book. There you go. That's good. Yeah, absolutely.
Oh,
yeah, The Good Word. Yeah.
The Good Word. I like that.
Yeah. Oh, that's okay. Yeah, we can think of lots of them. I don't want to. I'm just saying we could think of lots of them if we really wanted to.
Yeah.
I do this on the podcast. Yeah,
the Reading Pharaoh.
The Burning Book.
The Burning. No,
The Burning Bush.
That sounds bad.
Oh, that's Fahrenheit 451.
Their mustard seed is an element.
Oh yeah, I guess so.
Moses on down to the books.
Oh boy,
bookstore.
Mosey on down to the bookstore. Just picture of Moses with cowboy boots on, just like
No.
This is painful.
Noah's story arc.
Noah's story arc. Very good. Yep. Yes.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that's a good book tour. Oh my God.
I mean, there's a bunch in there.
Yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot. Like obviously we described like 30,
there's probably
30
more.
plus.
There's probably more.
Yeah, no. You can stop though. Let's get back to the game.
I feel like we'd be doing the Lord a disservice if we did that.
Oh boy.
Whole Lord of books. Whole Lord of books.
Yeah, I'm drawing a blank, but I'm sure there's lots. Sabbath, Abraham,
Dewey Decibeth system.
Dewey
system.
Is there anyone in the Bible named Dewey? We should think of this.
Yeah. We should
remember Dewey,
make
Abraham's neighbor.
How about this? If
Okay.
you have a deli, you could call it a Christian deli. You could call it Abraham and cheese.
This is great. It's great, Mikey. I love it. Yeah.
What
so,
else?
okay.
What about religious delis? No, like, there's got to be more for religious delis we could do.
Pillar of salt.
Pillar of salt is good.
Yep.
The mustard seed.
The mustard seed. Yeah. What else?
Okay, now let's do.
Let's go with someone else.
Do pet stores.
Oh, okay, pet stores.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Fishes and loaves. Something about fish.
Fishes and loaves.
Yeah, the fishes and loaves. There's a famous story about Jesus multiplying fish to feed everybody.
What's the loaves part though?
What you feed the fish. It's loaves of bread. Yeah, a little bit of loaves of bread for the fishy.
Okay, I like it.
Thanks.
That
must have been painful to listen
car
to.
store, a car.
Car store?
Car rental place.
Car rental.
Car
okay,
rentals. Car rental.
Okay. What do we got here?
Driving.
Books of the Bible.
Revelations.
Revelations. That's pretty good.
Revelation.
Oh my God.
We got there.
The good Lord giveth. Oh, that's fantastic.
There's another one for a food place.
Yeah.
The good Lord taketh away. Because it's takeaway food.
What if you sold appliances?
Oh, okay.
Sabbath and beyond.
Sabbath and beyond.
Oh God, Mikey.
Oh.
All right. This has all been really good. Yeah, we're obviously releasing a book later.
So
this year.
as you can tell, I know a lot about the Bible.
You did better than I did.
It took me a while.
Abraham and cheese is the best thing that's ever happened. Abraham and cheese. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So here's the thing. When they're selling to Christian bookstores, Nintendo doesn't want to touch that with a 10-foot pole. Obviously. If they sue Wisdom Tree,
right,
you're going to get the full backlash of all the religious parents and religious groups, they were basically hiding in a bubble of like, no one wants to sue a religious group.
Right.
They'll for a variety of reasons. So they were basically free. They were free to sell as much as they want. They made other religious games. And I don't want to go over the games just yet because I have a game to play with you.
Oh, no.
And this game, Bible Adventures, consists of 3 stories taken from the Bible.
Okay.
Okay. And I'm going to read you some stories from the Bible, and you're going to tell me which ones are real and which ones are fake.
No way.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
So let's do that now, and then we'll go back into a little bit more about Wisdom Tree.
Okay.
Here are the names of the stories.
Okay.
You'll be familiar with them.
Okay.
You have to tell me which ones are in Bible Adventure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Pet store, Noah's Bark. Sorry.
Oh, that's a great
Thank you.
one.
Okay.
That's a
Thank you.
great
Sorry.
one.
No, don't, Mikey. I'm so sorry I did that. Sorry.
Can you own a whale as a pet?
Well, I don't know. Maybe. Yeah. Jonah's Whale Emporium.
No, that wasn't what I was thinking.
Okay. Jonah was swallowed by a whale.
Jonah Hill. The city on the Jonah Hill.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sermon on the Mount. Yeah.
Sermon on the Mount. Okay, here we go. So, how about
so I have to
sermon
define
on
the
rye
one.
bread? Okay.
So I have to.
You have to tell me when you think it's a you know how many stories there or how many games there are within this game, right? How many stories did I tell you?
You said
that?
3.
Yes. Okay. So you have 3 that you have to apply. They can come in any order. You have to lay it down. So I'm gonna. So
Okay,
you can't,
what?
So because I don't want you to hear all of them and then say these are the 3.
Okay.
I want to say one, and you're like, you know
and
what?
I have to tell you whether it's in the game or not.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Jonah and the whale.
It's got to be in there.
Andrew, it's not.
Really? That
It's
makes
not.
the most sense as a video game, I thought.
It would make a lot
Yeah,
of sense. As a
very
video game,
visual.
right? Noah's Ark.
Yes. It's in the game? Is it? Is it in the game? I think it's in the
What
game.
is this, EA Sports? It is in the game. It's in the game.
Okay.
It's in the
It is
game.
EA Sports.
Job's Dilemma.
It's not EA Sports.
It's not EA Sports. It's not EA Sports. Sermon on the Mount.
It's a pretty famous one. But what would you do as part of the game to do the sermon? So I would say no, it's not in the game.
Andrew, that's correct.
Hmm.
The story of baby Moses.
I think it is in the game as some kind of weird down the river, like you gotta
Chris Farley simulator.
you gotta control this little basket as it avoids a Frogger type situation.
That is in the game.
Yes.
Unfortunately, that isn't how it plays out,
that's
but
too
it is in the game. We'll go over how they work out
Cannot
later.
wait to hear it.
The 10 Commandments.
I don't know how. Well, I guess he sees a burning bush and he gets a. I'll say it's in the game.
It's not in the game.
It's not in the game.
The 10 Plagues.
That would be a weird thing for a children's video game. I'm going to say no, it's not in the game.
Oh yeah, it would be a weird thing for the Catholic Church or the Christian Church to scare children based on bad images and.
Hey kids, do you know what locusts are? No? Well, let me tell you. They're real sons of bitches.
Yeah.
All the water turned into blood. How about that? Frogs raining down from the skies.
What about wine though?
That would be good, but unfortunately that's not a plague.
You tell that to
Tell it to who?
to people suffering from alcoholism, Andrew.
Oh yeah, it's very insensitive of me. I'm so sorry.
It is very insensitive.
Thanks
of you.
God.
Thanks God.
Do you think about the alcoholics out
The
there?
plague.
Jesus.
Yeah, Jesus is like, oh, you're. I like the idea at the Last Supper.
Yeah, Last Supper. Nice.
And he's just like, all right, wine for everyone. And Judas is like, I kind of quit that. He's like, oh, sorry, Judas.
Yeah.
Everyone like, oh, this guy's a fucking
Hope
party.
that guy also doesn't betray me in any other way. Making me look like an ass at my Last Supper. Also, you should kind of know at that point if you keep saying Last Supper out loud, like, why do you keep saying that? He's like, sorry, just something I'm calling it. Because we're never going back to this restaurant ever again.
It's a restaurant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Last Supper. Good restaurant name.
That is a great restaurant name.
No. How about this? So a deli?
Yeah.
The Fast Supper.
Oh, that's a great one.
Yeah.
Like a fast food restaurant.
Yeah, like it's just takeout and stuff.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So restaurants and delis, I guess that's kind of the same. Another restaurant. Did I say
Fishes
sermon
and
on rye
loaves.
bread?
What?
Did I say sermon on rye bread?
Yeah.
Okay. Because that's, I think that would be a good one. I'm going to think more about that,
Oh, you
actually.
please do.
So the 10 plagues not in there.
Mm-hmm.
David and Goliath.
Yes.
David and Goliath is in there.
100%.
The Exodus.
Oh God, I hope not. No.
No, it's not.
Yeah,
It's
no.
not. We already got all three anyway.
Oh, okay,
It's
yeah.
Noah's Ark, Story of Baby Moses, and David and Goliath.
Some weird ones to pick. I love it.
I
Can't
think-
wait to be educated.
Do you want to talk about how these games play out?
Yeah, please tell me what do you do in this game?
So Noah's Ark,
Game.
you are Noah.
Oh, cool.
You round up the animals. Ark's been built.
Oh, the hard part's already been done.
Yeah, well, you'd think so. You would think the hard part would be building a boat big enough to house all the animals. Noah's job is to hand carry all of the animals.
Hand carry?
Did I stutter? Hand carry all of the animals onto the ark.
Why can't they just walk? They have 4 legs. Most of them.
That's a great question, Andrew.
Yeah.
You'd think God could help out just a little bit. But no, God's got other things to do. I hear he's a football fan. He seems to always be paying attention to high school football teams.
Okay. So like sheep, got it. I can pick up sheep, put a sheep around my shoulders. Here we go, sheep time. Yeah. And then you're like, well, what's next on there? Elephant. Oh. He's like looking at you. You're looking at it. Do you remember the Noah's Ark movie that came out? The Darren Aronofsky movie with Russell Crowe?
Russell Crowe.
Who was asking for that?
Probably the same people that played this game.
I don't think they would have liked it. I don't know. I don't know. That was a bad movie, I think, right?
It was great.
Mm-hmm.
You know what the weird part about that movie is? Halfway through, the flood happens.
Yeah.
The next half is them on the ark.
Yeah, well, they're on there for a very long time.
Yes.
Yeah, and then that's where the dove with shows them the way to land. I think.
In this, it's not.
God, if I'm saying anything that's wrong, I honestly, yeah, probably. I'm so sorry.
I don't think very religious people listen to this podcast.
I can't imagine the religious and the listeners to the Retrograde podcast is a very big Venn diagram.
Right. I can't imagine that either. Okay, so yeah, you pick up the animals and carry them. You know, a line of 2x2 need not apply on this one. There is a line of 1 footprint in the sands with several lambs stacked on top of those footprints. Noah got gains. You guess how you recharge your health in this game?
Praying.
Close.
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 What's close to praying? Looking up? I don't know.
Having good intentions. Reading Bible verses.
Oh, for fuck's sake. That's so stupid. Oh, God, I'm so exhausted. Okay, then thou shalt not. Okay, that's pretty good. I feel good now. Let's do it. Time to put a couple more sheep on me.
The baby Moses, you are Miriam, who is?
The mother.
Sister. Moses' sister.
Who's a mother?
Yeah,
Mikey, who's the mother? Who's Moses' mother?
Mary.
Cool. Good as guess as ever.
So you have to carry Moses from one end of the level to the other to save him from the Pharaoh, aka Kanye West.
Wow.
May as well be.
Okay.
Because Pharaoh's like, all the Hebrews
kick
rocks.
Because this Pharaoh also didn't like Jewish people.
Yes, exactly.
Right. Okay.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes. Weird little little link here. Kanye West and Jay-Z Watch the Throne, right?
Yeah, Watch the Throne.
They used to be pretty tight.
Mm-hmm.
Who does the best Jay-Z impression you've ever seen?
Ari Spears?
No, Jay Pharoah.
Oh, Jay Pharoah. Oh, see? It's okay. Illuminati. I don't understand that.
So the enemies try to grab baby Moses and throw him into the Nile. You can throw him wherever you want.
Interesting.
And he doesn't take damage, which is wild to me. Babies are so fragile.
Yeah. No, not Moses, though.
Not Moses. David and Goliath. Mm-hmm. I'm sure this one is self-explanatory. You herd sheep while avoiding predators.
Sure. That's what your job is.
And then eventually you get a sling.
And you sling and you
you
slay.
first got to make it past Goliath's shield bearer.
Oh.
And then you got to get Goliath. But wild to me that it starts off as like a herding simulator.
But I think that's what it is. Wasn't Goliath eating the sheep or something like that?
Is that true?
Killing sheep? I don't know.
All he was doing was eating sheep.
I've
eat sheep.
This is again.
I've eat sheep.
Mm-hmm. You've had mutton.
I've had mutton.
Mm-hmm.
It ain't nothing without my mutton. Sitting there chewing fat with my butcher.
Mm-hmm.
It's a
chewing the fat.
Yeah, Seinfeld reference.
Nice.
I can do them. So okay. Those are the 3 games. I was going to talk a little bit more about other games. Actually, yes, there is one other game that I want to talk about that the Wisdom Tree made.
Okay.
So they had other religious games: Joshua and the Battle of Jericho, Exodus, King of Kings, Bible Buffet, and more. As late as 2007, they published a game. A different development company, but they published a game I'm going to prepare you for this.
Oh, God.
You're going to think I'm telling a joke.
Okay.
Because we've made jokes like this on the podcast.
Okay.
It's called
Abraham and cheese. Still the best one. Still so good.
I'm actually going to get you to tell me the name.
Okay.
If all the stories you can tell about Jesus have been told.
Okay.
And you're making the last ditch effort. Here's another story about Jesus. What do you call that story?
There's a last ditch.
It's just like God. Jesus has been everywhere.
Yeah.
Now what happens?
Jesus and the Jesus in his flying car.
No.
It's a joke we made on the podcast?
Kind of. Jesus in space.
No way, really?
I swear. I swear.
Oh, that's
wild.
So good.
We should play that game on the podcast.
Oh, we really should.
Or not. Reception of this game, it's hard to say because it wasn't officially licensed, so reviews were kind of hard to come by. But retroactively, a lot of publishing companies ranked it on the worst games of all time.
Oh,
Games Radar ranked it the 68th worst game of all time. IGN ranked it the 19th worst game ever made. EGM ranked it the 19th worst game ever made. What do you think? Let's go through this quickly because we want to get to the game.
Christian Weekly gave it 9.5 out of 10
Exactly.
crucifixes.
Yeah.
Satan Weekly gave it 1 out of 10. Well, interesting. Weird.
Satan Weekly.
Satanist Weekly, maybe?
What would Satanist Weekly's favorite game be?
Doom?
No, because
no, we're killing
you're
okay.
being
That's a
killed.
good question. What's one
Maybe
where...
Grand Theft Auto?
Sure.
How about Saints Row?
Yeah, that's pretty
especially
good.
as the name too.
That's pretty good. Manhunter?
Manhunter sounds good.
Yeah?
Yeah. Or Manhunt. Manhunter's, I think, the one with the shark, unless that's what you meant.
No, I didn't mean the one with the shark. Okay. Thanks for
Satan
checking.
hates sharks.
Yes, Satan's with everyone else. Sharks suck.
Kick rocks, sharks.
Kick rocks. Touch grass, sharks.
Okay, just quickly, the 5 worst games on the Games Radar list that I talked about.
Cool.
Anything you think might show up there?
Celebrity Deathmatch.
Oh, if only. I'll just go through them. Custer's Revenge at number 5.
Yeah, that's horrible.
Superman N64 at number 4. Club Drive on the Atari Jaguar. I don't know about that one. E.T. as number 2.
Oh.
And Big Rigs Over the Road Racing as number 1.
And Blake's the Cat.
And Blake's the Cat. Blake's the Cat actually was pretty good. I'm
there
not
we
gonna
go.
lie. Yeah.
See?
But imagine being Big Rigs, being the worst game of all time, not made fun of because you were supposed to be good and you're E.T. You're just a really shitty game. That would suck so bad. No excuses.
There's nothing famous about you being shitty.
No.
You're just shitty.
You're just shitty.
That's amazing.
Oh, that's got to suck. Speaking of shitty things, I think we're going to have a hard time playing this game, but let's find out. You know, we've heard so many things about it. Now it's time to herd some sheep. So we're going to go play the game. You can catch the gameplay segment over on our YouTube channel. We'll give you all the information about that in the break, and then we'll see you back here on the other side in 2 shakes of a lamb's tail who's being carried by Noah.
Or eaten by Goliath.
Hey D-pads, want to watch this week's gameplay segment where we play a portion of today's game and provide video commentary while doing it? All of our gameplay segments are available for free at youtube.com/The Retrograde Podcast. Make sure to subscribe and maybe leave us a like and comment while you're there. And while you're here, why not drop us a rating or review on your podcast platform of choice? It only takes you a moment, but it helps us out immensely and lets us know you appreciate us as much as we appreciate you. You can still join us on our Patreon for $5 US per month at patreon.com/The Retrograde Podcast for monthly bonus episodes such as drafts, spoiler casts, top 10 lists, and take some suggestions from the community, both gaming and non-gaming related. Plus, make sure to follow us on all our social media channels. It's at Retrograde Pod on Twitter and TikTok, or at The Retrograde Podcast on Instagram. We're also available on Twitter at Retrograde Mikey and at Retrograde Andy. Finally, reach out to us with any business inquiries or questions and comments you'd like us to read on air at theretrogradepodcast@gmail.com. We'll see you all on the other side.
And welcome back to the Retrograde.
Hello, welcome.
Oh boy. Hi,
Stay
how you
a
doing?
while.
Yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm.
What did you say?
Oh boy.
No, I know. You asked how I was doing.
How are you doing?
I would
How are
say, how about I reflect the same question unto you?
Oh, fuck.
How are you doing?
I am feeling frustrated.
Mm-hmm.
I
Many
am
people do.
feeling annoyed.
That is part of the world these days.
Right. What is this? What are you doing?
I am not doing anything.
Oh boy. Okay. All right, finish that sentence.
I would just like to express to you that the terms that you used, frustrated, angry,
Yeah. Annoyed,
might be signs of a deeper issue. What is your world outlook these days?
Usually I'm a pretty optimistic guy.
Yeah, I can tell.
You can, eh?
Yes.
Okay.
The optimism might lead you astray.
Really? I should be negative?
You should be negative when required.
Okay.
Optimism based upon a base hath been pawned.
Oh my God. This is so annoying.
Oh,
Mikey. It's like you've been touched by God and now you're a completely different person.
He did say he had direct communication with God, and yes, he did touch me.
Okay. Oh no. Someone took advantage of you.
I think it was mutual. I think I took advantage of his communication with God, and I let him take advantage of.
Oh no, Mikey! Oh God! We just played Bible Adventure, and we are thou changed.
We are thou changed.
Yep.
I'm pretty religious now.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know about you.
Mm-hmm.
Are you pretty religious now?
It is fun. Is it hard? Well, I was just gonna say it's hard to make the connection between that and religion, except for every time you wanted to pick up an extra life.
Yes,
there was a Bible verse or explaining a key element to how to play the game.
Yeah. Well, okay. I think you missed a few things as my dog runs circles in the middle of the recording studio.
I think it's been possessed by Satan.
I think so.
Oh no,
she's going wild.
No, she's going crazy.
I think you missed a couple key things.
What did I miss?
We were playing the same game, right? You saw me pick up the sheep and put them on the ark, right?
You picked up so many animals.
Picked up a lot of animals.
Picked up babies. You picked up whole men who picked up babies.
Threw those babies and men into a river.
Yeah.
You also picked up sheep.
I picked up a lot of sheep. I got attacked by a ton of wildlife.
Yeah, and this is so you understand. This is what I'm bringing up, and yet you say your words that you didn't see the religion in this game.
I really had trouble. It was more of a wildlife simulator than anything else. A lot of wildlife.
And what is life if not a wildlife simulator? And what a wild life you can live if you're not guided by our Lord and Savior, Jesus.
Yeah, Jesus.
Is that his name?
Yeah. I think it's Jesus. Yeah.
Honestly, I don't even know. I don't
think Jesus came up in this because all the stories are Old Testament.
It's all Old Testament.
Yeah, that's so interesting.
Yeah. That
Not
is
really.
interesting.
Is that fascinating?
Why would they base this on Old Testament, actually, now that I think about it?
Because more of the Old Testament is more like stories and parables.
But isn't the Old Testament, isn't it like a Jewish thing?
Well, the old parts of the Old Testament are the Torah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I think. Once again,
it's
I don't know.
Something like that.
Okay, well, so yeah, there you go.
So
Maybe
is this a Jewish game?
Yeah, it's a Jewish game. Yeah.
Is it basically be like those fucking Christians over there? They're just hucking animals left, right, and center.
Yeah. Why would they just keep throwing animals at each other?
It is also weird that there is failure in this game because, what does that imply?
That God doesn't have your back?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, then again, lots of people died in this period while praising God. So
true.
Feeding Christians to lions, which was what my level was. I was getting constantly eaten by lions.
You didn't realize that you were supposed to herd animals. You're like, I will volunteer myself to be fed to a lion.
Yes, I was very good at it.
Yes, you were very good at it.
Very good at it.
And I honestly, I gotta be. This is, you know what? Never mind. I shouldn't say it.
No. Let us know.
No, I think we just move on. I shouldn't say it.
We're not gonna be able to move on unless you tell us.
You promise you won't judge me for it?
Do I have to?
You know what would make me feel really good? If you told me you wanted to hear it.
I want to hear what the hell you're talking about.
When you were... Sounds silly to say.
Oh my God. This is infuriating.
Do you want to talk to my friend who can deal with your fury? Because
No.
Okay.
Just tell me what the hell you're talking about.
When you were getting eaten by the lions,
I
was like, you know what? He does look pretty delicious. Maybe I want to have a bite.
A little nibble?
Just a little nibble.
I am pretty delicious.
Did you feel when you were playing, because you were enthralled, I was going to say raptured in the game.
Oh,
we don't want to use that word.
Nope.
When you were enthralled by this game, did you feel like a little bite on your thigh?
No, I don't think I did because I was just so into the game.
Oh, okay.
You took a little bite of me. How did this turn into cannibalism?
Sorry, I'm just... Well, listen, we're all animals on this rock.
Hey, boy, are we.
And I saw the lions eating you, and I was like, meat is meat.
Yeah.
Bears and lions.
Oh my.
Bears and lions getting in the way. Okay, so let's go through each of the games.
Please.
How about that?
Yes.
All right. Speaking of bears and lions, you played David and Goliath.
I played David
which
and Goliath.
meant we spent most of our time shirting heap.
This was a shirting heap simulator.
Yes.
So many sheep I was herding all over the place. Goliath didn't make an appearance.
No.
We went through 3 levels of
sheep
shirting
heap shirting.
And we just kept going, well, maybe we'll get a sling eventually so we can take down the giant.
The big surprise wasn't the bears and the sheep. It was eventually scorpions.
Scorpions?
That was big. They rocked us
goats?
like a hurricane, for sure. Mountain goats.
Nice.
Yeah, thanks. That was a wild level. But it turns out that the majority of this game, across all levels, all stories essentially, is picking things up. You pick up baby Moses.
Yeah, pick up baby Moses.
In the story of baby Moses.
So baby Moses.
You pick up the heap.
You pick up all those heaps.
In David and Goliath.
Yep.
You bring them to the thing and avoid the lions and tigers and bears. Oh my. And scorpions.
Mm-hmm.
And then in Noah's Ark,
it's
the same thing. You find all the animals across the level. You avoid the evil snakes. You find the non-evil snakes. And you bring them to the Ark.
And then also there's woodpeckers. Leave them behind.
Don't
even look at them.
It's like when they hit you, then all of a sudden it's like no more. They can't come on the Ark anymore.
Right. You have a vendetta.
Yeah. Even though I'm pretty sure the bull hit us or the oxen, and we brought that oxen on.
Yeah. And the snakes.
And the snakes.
And then that took a while.
To
find all those animals. You're climbing trees. You're doing lots of
stuff. And
by
the way, we're leaving the realm of David and Goliath because that's all we did. We herded sheep.
That's all we did. We wanted to find Goliath so we could kick the shit out of that giant.
We wanted to kick the shit. He was hiding.
Nope.
We called him out. This was very much an Anthony Joshua, Tyson Fury type thing.
Okay.
We, as Tyson Fury, kept calling him out. We said, hey, Goliath, sign the contract.
Right.
We'll fight you in London. It'll be the biggest match of all time.
Right.
But you got 2 days to sign the contract. And Goliath said, are those your sheep over there? And we said, oh, fuck.
Oh, God. Where are my sheep? Are there lions and bears around here? Uh-oh. Yeah. And then, God, so much herding sheep. And then, so the Noah's Ark one took forever.
Yes.
And so you finished it.
I did.
And we're like, great. We are ready to get sailing here. Come on.
All right, anchors up.
Let the rain start, baby.
Yep.
And second page, turtles and pandas and blue jays and stuff. The exact
same stuff.
Level.
So here's the thing. The controls of this game, while simple, honestly weren't terrible. They were, it was playable in the sense that the game did what I thought it was going to do.
Oh, really?
Yeah, for the most part.
Okay.
I mean, there's a level of unpredictability to it, but in the same way there was difficult, like it was fabricated difficulty because when you move, it's like you're on an ice rink.
Yeah.
Like you just kind of slide a little bit.
Yeah.
But that was very typical of the era. That's how they made difficulty in a lot of those games is making controls a little bit more difficult. So it wasn't that different from a lot of games from this era that you'd come to expect, right?
Okay.
Was it fun? That's a different story.
Was it fun?
No, it was not fun.
Okay.
But I honestly, this is going to be crazy. It is a farce to call this the 19th worst game of all time. It's a farce to call it the 69th worst game of all time, which or 61st or whatever it is that it came on Games Radar. This is not the worst game of all time.
Salvation isn't supposed to be fun.
It's
supposed to be important.
And I felt important. Andrew,
is that true?
I felt very important.
Whoa.
I felt very important.
This game, you're right. Okay, it's not one of the worst games of all time.
Right.
No, well, I don't know.
Maybe. No, we've played 5 or 6 worst games on this podcast, and
really?
we don't seek out worst games than this. Simpsons Wrestling, worse than this.
That was worse than this.
Celebrity Wrestling,
Celebrity Deathmatch,
yeah, worse than this.
Okay.
So I'm thinking of it like a restaurant.
Rapsture. Yeah,
that's great.
Lots of raps.
Raps charred.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a pita.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, I like that. That's pretty good.
No, we've definitely played worse games. And I'm curious organically to rate and review this game and see where it lands on our list, because I don't think it's going to be as low as we think it is in terms of like worst games ever. Or for me at least. Maybe you're wrong.
What about Breads Have Arisen?
Oh, Andrew, that's really good.
Okay.
That's really good.
Yeah. Thanks.
Or how about this?
Okay.
A bakery. He has a raisin. That's also not bad.
Okay. Yeah. Go.
I got one.
Go.
Okay.
Okay.
Picture this.
Yeah.
You're spending all day in the shopping mall.
Yeah.
Right. I like that I go on a walk for this.
Yeah.
And your eyes just glaze over. You're like, yeah, I don't want to. Just tell me the
I hate
name
to
of the
say it.
restaurant.
I'll keep eye contact and I'll go, Brain, you start thinking of more.
Okay.
I'll
good.
physically be here corporeally.
So so I'll give you some time. You're shopping at the mall. You get a little hungry. You go to the food court. Right?
Yeah. Go to the food court.
You're like, what do I want?
What are you, Dracula?
You got Subway. What are the usual? Subway, McDonald's.
Yeah.
Maybe a
KFC
Burger King, KFC.
Yeah.
And there's also, you're like, I don't want any of that. You know what I do want?
What do you want?
Maybe a little bit of Asian inspiration here.
Okay.
I want some stir fry. I'm going to go for walk on water.
That's really good.
WOK.
Yeah. No, I got
yeah,
you.
yeah.
Okay. What if I invented, what if I created a really fun, out of the way, but like something you'd love to travel to because it's just so beautiful at it.
Okay.
But it's a gas station. But it's lush. And
Oh.
just like, it's like, oh, stunning. You like just want to take pictures and stuff like that
Like
there.
a Spagliato. Okay.
Yeah, it's the Garden of Gethsemane. It's Gethsemane.
Wow.
Yeah.
The Garden of Gas. So this is a gas station
It's a gas station.
in the middle of a forest?
Yeah. I'm going right to the source for the oil. Just pumping it right out of the ground.
What about a bar called the Holy Spirit?
Holy Spirit. Very good. Yes. I think that's a great one. What about a taxi service?
Uh-huh.
Where what about a taxi service that exclusively has female drivers? It's called Hail Mary.
Oh my God. That's fantastic.
Thank you.
Okay. Music, graphics, not good.
Terrible.
The music is like incredibly forgettable to the point where I couldn't even hum it to you right now if I tried, and all we heard for the last 45 minutes was
Yeah.
with the exception of Bach's in the title.
Yeah, that was
screen,
nice.
But that's
But
it.
everything else is like, it sounds like vibration.
Yes. And not good ones.
No, not the good vibrations. Oh, I forgot about that. No, and I will say, like, the graphics are bad.
Yeah.
But they could be okay. The actual figure, the actual avatar, little
They're
sprite,
the little sprites, yeah.
totally fine.
Yeah.
It's everything else sucks. Like, you're looking at some of these things attacking you, and you're like, what is that?
Yeah.
Like the spiders. It was like, took a while to go like, what is that?
Yeah.
And the other one was, squirrels are hucking acorns at me. Really annoying.
Why?
And then every once in a while, one squirrel was like eating me, and I'm like, what the hell is that? I'm like, oh, it's a bear. And I can't tell the difference between squirrels and bears. They're the exact same size. They look identical. So very,
And
not
you're
great.
talking about your real life, not this game.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, look, we played this game as much as we could, and I think we got worn down by it. We just wanted to stop each of the things, but we got, 10, 20 minutes out of each different story that we played. Why don't we go into our reviews of this game? So Andrew, why don't you start us off? Typically, as we mentioned, what we do is we rate and review the games based on what we thought of them when we played them as little kids. But because you and I didn't play these games, we're going to be giving it a ranking out of 4 bits based on what we think we would have thought about the game had we played it as kids. First, we'll start us off, and then we'll go in and give the rating and review of the game based on how it holds up in the modern day against like some modern games like Elden Ring and like God of War Ragnarok. So why don't you start us off, Andrew? Your score out of 4 bits based on what you would have thought about it.
Okay. In the real context of this, I would have been a kid playing this game.
Yes.
And I would have thought, oh God, somebody is trying to convert me back into religion. So I probably would have deeply resented this game.
That's a good point.
And probably like, I hate this game. I'm never going to play this game.
Yeah. Give
me Sonic. I want to eat some chili cheese dogs. Which, by the way, I had a chili cheese dog recently.
Ooh.
Stunning.
Stunning.
At Lafayette in Detroit.
Ooh.
Amazing.
I imagine those would be unbelievable.
Incredible. It's like a local food in Detroit there.
Yeah.
It's so good. And you know what the real important part is? The snap of the hot dog. Gotta get a good snap.
So there is a wiener in there?
Oh, yeah.
It's like a hot dog with chili on it and
With
cheese?
chilies. Except they do it with chili and they do it with a little mustard. And you know what? Gotta say, cuts it really nicely. Okay, there we go. That's just my Andrew's Food Corner. It comes every episode.
Yes.
I had to bring it up. Yeah, I would have hated this game because I would have resented the religious aspect of it.
Yeah.
Though I would have played it, and I will say, I can't believe I'm saying this, at least it's long. There's lots, you could keep going back to this game.
Sure.
And, as much as like, as kids, being a completionist was definitely a part of it because we always talk about this lack of options.
Yep.
So you would keep coming back to it. So there's like some advantage to it, and it is playable.
Yeah.
But I don't think I would have enjoyed a single second of it, and it would have been a good time wasting.
Okay.
So I'm going to give it a 1 out of 4.
1 out of 4. Forks?
Yeah. Well, I just did my food segment.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, we have this other food podcast you might have heard. I hear you with the 1 out of 4. And I think that's close to correct. And it may even be correct.
It's my score, right? Are you ranking my score?
I'm trying to put my stamp on your score. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you definitely are.
Yeah. Your ranking, I'm going to give a 3 out of 4 because it's pretty good.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
It's pretty good. Could be better, but like it's good.
Yeah. Well, hopefully in a couple minutes you give a better score. Where are you going?
I'm going to go with, I don't think I would have hated it as much as, like, this is 91, so it's tough. There's no destruction in this game. I think I would have been looking for something a little bit more action oriented in it. I feel like I would have found this in like my uncle's video game collection or something and played it and been like, I don't really like this game enough. So maybe you're right. Maybe I wouldn't have given it the time of day. I think my patience for this game would come later in life when I've played much worse games so I can compare them relatively speaking. So I'm also going to go with a 1 out of 4. But your review is still a 3 because of your justification.
Jesus Christ. Okay, so that's a 2 out of 8. Solid score for Bible Adventure. That's in our retro scores. Here we go with our modern scores. Mikey, I'm not sure a lot changes. I know you just said it's not one of the worst games we've ever played. May that be technically true. But still, the content inside of it doesn't really make you want to play this game.
Right.
You know what I mean? While it is technically playable, it doesn't mean it's fun or interesting or addicting in any way. You're not really completing anything because it's just a lot of the same. Even though I did wish if we got to Noah's Ark. Do you see the water filling out? Do you see it?
I hope so.
Little arms reaching up for salvation.
There's only one way.
Help me! No.
I still think it just like closes in on Gomorrah and Sodom in particular. Just as we mentioned in the gameplay, just people butt fucking and getting drowned. But if there's a way to go,
what a way to go!
What a way to go!
What a way to go!
Yes,
honestly. So, I just can't imagine why I would ever want to play this game.
Right,
and especially in the modern day. What am I supposed to do here? You know what I mean? It's technically playable. It's like finding like gas station hot dogs and going like, well, at least it's meat. It's like, well, it is technically meat. You're right. I think it is technically food. Yeah, 100%, but it's not good food.
Right.
And I don't want to eat it. I'm going to go to 0.5.
Oh, wow.
I have to. Like, why in the world would I play this game?
It's true. So we started off, I'm going to give your ranking a 2 out of 4.
Oh, for fuck's sakes.
Just because I think it's a little harsh, and I think one thing you're ignoring is this is a game you play in the modern day and there's nothing else like it. And we talked about at the beginning of this episode that you can't hate play video games in the same way you can watch like Tommy Wiseau's The Room. Weirdly, because the controls work, I think you can kind of do it with this.
Yeah.
There is a weird cult appeal to the fact that like I can strong arm my way through this game just to see all the weirdness of it and enjoy the fact that I saw this crazy fringe game that came out and experienced this weird bit of history. True history with David and Goliath.
History is an interesting word to use.
I was talking history in the sense that this game came out historically, not in terms of its Bible themes. Yeah. But what a weird like museum entry of a game to go and explore. And because this game is playable, and because it feels like a weird peek into a realm of gaming that I never really knew existed, and I appreciate the opportunity to go there and not be frustrated banging my head against the wall with controls. I'm weirdly going to go with a 1.5 out of 4.
Oh my God. You are out of your fucking mind.
It's not as bad as everyone said.
You need to find Jesus, man. Get out of here. My brother in Christ, get out of here. All right. So 1.5, a 0.5, that gets us to 2. That's a 4 out of 16. That's about what I thought.
0.5 and 1.5 for you. Yeah, you're right. That's a 4.
Oh, thanks. Thanks for checking.
Well,
Mr. Calculator.
Just keeping you honest. I understand where your ratings come from, but there's a weird fascination I have with this one. I'm going to give my rankings a 4 out of 4. I'm going to give yours, as I mentioned, a 3 and a 2 out of 4. So with my 4,
do some math.
That's an 8. Okay. And yours is just a 5. Yeah. So I actually got better ratings than you on this one.
You gave yourself a better rating than my ratings. Oh, this is weird.
Is that what? Wait, what did I give myself again?
This is like an evil snake eating its tail.
A 4 and a 4. Yeah. So mine were I guess that's how it shaped up. But that's not the intention.
You're confusing people that are listening to a lot of numbers right now. Nonetheless, this game sucked.
Yeah.
Okay, good. We're on the same page.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's time for mass. I think it's time to go to mass. Time to go to our award show, I think, a little bit.
Let's go to the awards ceremony. I'll meet you there at the red carpet, and then we'll find out what awards this game won, okay?
I'm fascinated to find out what awards this game won.
You've been waiting for it all year. The most glamorous award ceremony of the week. Ladies and gentlemen, the Grady's.
Here we are. Here.
Here are thou.
Todd Snap in his gown.
Yeah,
he's taking pictures.
Like an altar boy type.
He is
outfit.
absolutely an altar boy.
Yeah. Edward Snap. Is Todd short for Edward?
I don't think you said that recently, and I don't think it is.
Sounds good.
Okay.
Sounds about right. Shut up, Edward.
Shut up, Edward. And then we got Elliot coming on. He's dressed. Oh, he's got a Pope hat on.
Oh, wow.
And nothing else. It's like a religious Chippendales outfit he's got on.
He's got the collar.
He's got the collar.
Nothing else.
Nothing else.
Big crucifix.
Big crucifix.
Covering his junk.
Honestly, good look for him.
Hey, he's in great shape.
He's in great shape. Elliot, why don't he's reaching in his Pope hat. That's where he's keeping the envelopes.
Right,
Elliot, why don't you hand us those envelopes or you read it yourself. Let us know what awards this game won.
The hermetically sealed vault of expectations.
The hermetically sealed vault of expectations, Andrew.
Interesting.
An interesting one. I'm always a fan of this, especially when it's not us giving the same rankings before and after. So the hermetically sealed vault of expectations, obviously same score in the retro score as the current score. You went down 0.5, I went up 0.5, so it remained the same.
Yeah.
Interesting. And
sure.
I think you expected it to get worse. We do have the Uwe Boll Memorial Dead Pixel Trophy.
I thought it would get worse, or the landfill.
Or the New Mexican landfill. That's where the retro score is below a 2. Or the Worst by Hall of Fame, where the current score is below a 2, but they just were 2.
Yeah. You really betrayed this game. You're a real Judas for this ratings.
I think you were Judas trying to bring it down.
I am trying to be fair and honest to it. You know, much like Judas. Now that I'm thinking about it, I want 50 pieces of silver for this thing. There you go. There's my religious knowledge showing up.
I like it.
Thank you very much. If you have a deli, car repair, pet shop, or any other pun related to the Bible, we'd love to hear it. I Retrograde Mikey, I Retrograde Andy, I Retrograde Pod. But Mikey, I don't know what else we got to talk about with this game. Bible Adventure. This was one of the ones that were like, we always threaten to do it.
it is weirdly like a threat, right?
Yeah. And we did it.
Yeah.
No one can say we didn't.
No one can say we didn't. It's available on emulators. It's the only way you can play it. Maybe just check it out because this is wild. It's a wild game. It's crazy that this game exists.
It is crazy this game exists.
Yeah.
And we're all different because of it.
Yeah,
so,
absolutely.
We're off to do a couple rosaries. And
can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Are you thinking about other Bible-related names
Mikey,
to end off the episode as we're talking right now?
Mikey, the back of my head has been running hot with just like, I am like the second that laptop starts playing a game, it's like, so my ears aren't doing that right now.
Well, why don't we throw away?
Do you got a couple?
No, we'll figure it out.
Okay.
I got one.
Okay, you got one.
Okay, so
I love when you explain it. Okay, so in this, you're a leprechaun. Wait, what?
No, this is an easy one.
Okay.
This is actually it's a line of books.
Oh, it's a line of books.
It's a line of books. And it's kind of like the the For Dummies line of books. And this is a For Dummies book.
Okay.
But it's about cities that really don't have a moral compass.
Oh.
And it's Sodom for Gomorrons.
See, I was thinking Abraham and Cheese is doing really well, and we need to open another location of Abraham and Cheese.
Okay.
So it's Bethlehem and Cheese. All right. Well, that's our Retrograde Podcast. We love every single one of you, and we can't wait to talk to you soon. My name is Andrew Bascom. With me, as always, is the Bible man up for the podcasting, Mr. Bebop himself,
Mikey Aaronworth.
This is the Retrograde Podcast.
Game over. Oh, no,
He is risen. Oh, my God. We're going to hell.
Amen.
Furnished by Sad Styles Productions.
Here's my favorite drawing of Muhammad. Here's my least favorite drawing of Muhammad.